Okay, this is 7.3 notes. This is the Pythagorean Theorem. So basically the Pythagorean Theorem deals with right triangles. And it says that the sides of a right triangle have special names. These are called legs. The sides that are forming the right angle are called the legs. And the hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle. Okay, so the hypotenuse will always be the longest side. So in words, it says the sum of the squares of the lengths of their legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. So basically, this is just a squared, leg squared, plus other leg squared is equal to hypotenuse squared. Right, so here is our first example. First thing we need to do is identify what's A, what's B, and what's C. Okay? It truly doesn't matter what you assign A and what you assign B. It really doesn't matter. So just pick. Okay, so A is 5, B is 12, and C is C. Okay, and then writing the Pythagorean theorem, I have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And then you just plug in these numbers. So you have 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to C squared. And then you evaluate 5 squared, which is 25, plus 144 is equal to C squared. And then 144 plus 25 is 169. So if 169 is C squared and I'm trying to find C, I need to take the square root of both sides since this is C squared. And the square root of 169, I believe it's 14, but let me check. Square root of 169 in my calculator, 13, my bad. So C is equal to 13 meters. Try these on your own. Too super tricky. The fractions are super mean. If you want, you can either change them to decimals or keep them as fractions. It's up to you. But hit pause, try it, and I'll come back and do them with you. All right, number 1 is A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Okay, 8 feet is going to be A. This is B, and C is just C. Okay, so we have 8 squared plus 15 squared is equal to C squared. 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225, I believe. Yes. And then that is equal to C squared. So right now you need to do 64 plus 225. You get 289. So 289 is equal to C squared. So to find C, you take the square root of both sides. And the square root of 289 is 17. So C is equal to 17 feet. All right, let's set up number 2. This I'm going to make, oops, go back. This I'm going to make be A. This I'm going to have B, and C is C. Okay, so it's A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. I'm going to keep them as fractions. You could have picked something else. You could have put them as decimals. I have 2/5 squared plus 3/10 squared is equal to C squared. Okay, so when you square a fraction, you have to square both the numerator and the denominator. So this is 4 over 25, 2 squared and 5 squared, plus 9 over 100 is equal to C squared. Now before I can add these, I have to find a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4 to get a common denominator of 100. So this is now 16. I'm going to go over here. It says now 16 over 25 plus 9, oops, 16 over 100. 16 over 100 plus 9 over 100 is equal to C squared. Okay, so 16 plus 9 is 25 over 100 is C squared. Okay, and in order to find C, you take the square root of both of these, and remember you can take the square root of the numerator and the square root of the denominator. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of 10 is, or 100 is 10, so it's 5/10 or 1/2 inch. Okay, tricky one, but very doable. All right, example 2. Now I'm given the hypotenuse, I need to find one of the legs. Okay. Same formula though. You still use A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Okay, that's A, this is B, and that is equal to C. So I leave A squared as A squared plus 2.1 squared is equal to 2.9 squared. Okay, So now what I need to do is evaluate what those numbers are squared. So in my calculator, 2.1 squared is 4.41. 2.9 squared is 8.41. Okay, and this is plus a squared. Now this is kind of like solving an equation. I need to solve for a, so I need to get rid of this 4.41 by subtracting it from both sides. Okay, so now I have a squared is equal to 8.41 minus 4.41, and that gives me 4. So if a squared is equal to 4, if I take the square root of both of these, a is going to be equal to 2 centimeters. Okay, still not bad. Kind of have to use some solving equation strategies. Example 3, this is our real life application. So you are playing capture the flag. Toby, stop. Oh my goodness. You can tell I'm doing this at home. You are playing capture the flag. You are 50 yards north. Hold on. All right, the dog has a bone, so hopefully he'll be happy. You are 50 yards north and 20 yards east of your team's base, and the other team's base is 80 yards north and 60 yards east of your base. How far are you from the other team's bases? Okay, so the big hint here is to use a graph to help you solve this problem. Okay, so if you're 50 yards north and 20 yards east, okay, thinking north is up and down, and then east is to the left, so this coordinate is going to be 20, 50. And then same thing over here, this is going to be 60, 80. Keep in mind, you plot the x-coordinate before you go up and plot the y-coordinate. Okay, so if we use a graph, we just need the first quadrant, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so this point is 20, 50. That's right there, and the other one is 60, 80. That's right there. Okay, so what you're trying to find is this distance. Okay, you're trying to find A and you're trying to find B. So keep in mind this is 20 and this is 60, so this A distance is going to be 40. Okay, and this point is 60, 50. Okay. So to get from here to here, it's 10, 20, 30, it's 30. Let me check. That is correct. So you can obviously make your graph a whole lot neater than mine, but it's hard to do on this computer screen. Okay, so what we're doing is we're trying to find C, the distance between two of the bases. And at this point, this problem should be pretty easy. So we have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. 40 squared plus 30 squared is equal to C squared. 40 squared is 1600 plus 900, which is 30 squared, is equal to C squared. If you add those two numbers together, you get 2500 is equal to C squared. So to find C, you got to take the square root, and C is equal to 50 yards. Okay, so this graph part really helps you solve this type of problem. All right, try these on your own and pause it, and then when you're ready, hit play and I'll walk you through it. All right, number 3 is A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Keep in mind this is A because it's my leg closest to the right angle, and this is C. So I have 16 squared plus B squared is equal to 34 squared. 16 squared is 256. Plus B squared, don't know what that is 34 squared, which is 1,156. Subtract 256 from both sides to get B squared by itself. And so you have B squared is equal to 900. If you take the square root of both sides, B is equal to 30 yards. Hope it doesn't die. Hold on. Okay, excuse me. Number 4, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So you have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared, and we're solving for A. B is 9.6 squared, and C is equal to 10.4 squared. Doing these in my calculator, 9.6 squared is 92.16. So it's a squared plus 92.16 is equal to 10.4 squared is 108.16. If you subtract 92 from both sides, you get a squared is equal to 16. Take the square root of both sides, and a should be equal to 4 meters. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow.